We have now interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you.
All right, welcome back to another edition of the Warheads. I am Apocalypto Joe with Roscoe and OG Zoe, and we're here to discuss something: the hypocrisy, the American hypocrisy. You know, within the last few days, we've realized that it was revealed that Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, was not vaccinated with the vaccine, with the indoctrination, as we say around these here parts. And so now it's this big stir because the NFL world is not giving him the same pushback that Kyrie Irving got. Kyrie Irving didn't lie. Aaron Rodgers actually lied. He said he had been indoctrinated. Turns out he wasn't. And so before we get started, I just wanted to read part of an article that just came out a few days ago dealing with Kyrie Irving and his issue with the indoctrination. It says New York Mayor-elect Eric Adams puts onus on NBA Nets Kyrie Irving to come to resolution amid unchanged vaccine mandate. The article is basically saying that they want him to be indoctrinated for at least one shot, is what it's saying, for home games in Brooklyn and away games at Madison Square Garden. It says New York City is not changing their rule, Adams said in an interview on CNN. And again, it is up to the NBA and Kyrie to come to a full understanding on how to keep him on the Nets and to continue to look at all of our athletes that are coming here. Again, I think the NBA and Kyrie are going to come to a conclusion on this. The reason I find this a little bit troubling, before I hand it over to you, brothers, what's the player, Beal, that plays for Bradley Beal? He is not vaccinated, but he was able to come to Brooklyn and play a game versus the Nets. Now, they're trying to make this man get vaccinated or crackinated or indoctrinated or whatever to be able to play in New York, home games and away games. But the hypocrisy between allowing other players to come into New York to play, why can't they extend that carte blanche to Kyrie? But I want to get into something a little bit deeper. So I wanted to hand this over to you guys and just have a discussion about this hypocrisy that's going on out here, especially when it comes to Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers. One refusing because he wants the right to choose what goes into his body. The other one lied and said, yeah, I got it. Turns out he didn't get it. What y'all got to say on this, Warheads?
All I got to say is, I don't know why I hear the reverb right now, but all I got to say is, what is his name? Aaron Rodgers, you got some splaining to do. You know, you definitely have to come out and really explain yourself after this debacle, if you will, because really it just really speaks to on some level his privilege, something that he has that Kyrie hasn't been afforded is the protection of the organization that Green Bay has given Aaron Rodgers during this time that this whole news has come out. So there's that for one. But yeah, no, it just really speaks to the two Americas. Kyrie has been going through all this mess and had his name, or is having his name being dragged through the mud in his situation, when, like you said, he came forward and all he really said is he's having reservations about putting this foreign thing or being indoctrinated, so that's his whole thing. But at least he came forward and put it out there when, in Rogers' case, he wanted to be real slick about this. He wanted to be covert. He actually, depending on how serious you are really taking this whole COVID thing, but he's really put a lot of people in danger, with his activity, so not only from his personal standpoint should he be held accountable, but like I said, the organization is also kind of protecting him through this too, when the Nets are actually willing to trade Kyrie. They pretty much put him on the block. So again, it just speaks to the difference in how the organizations are handling the situations. But though, you can go ahead and get your take.
I mean, I think it's different because you're dealing with the NBA and then the NFL. Initially, Aaron Rodgers said he was going to be vaccinated. He followed a lot of protocols, but then he found out that he was allergic to one or two of the ingredients in the actual indoctrination. So, I mean, that was his decision, and everybody has a right to be decided. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't think there's too much of a difference, rather than maybe he probably didn't display it to everyone as soon as he found out that he was whatever. That's his own prerogative. We still live in America. You still get to choose. I mean, it's HIPAA laws, so I think that's should be predicated under my business and my business only, unless I want you to know. And a lot of these organizations, they haven't actually mandated it. They just made it so many protocols in it, so you should, just to make it that you should be indoctrinated. It's not a law. So that's why you have all these discrepancies between the two. And then, I mean, you have a lot of people that probably would lie. I mean, look how many people get caught with these little cards that they've been printing up. I mean, hey, where there's a will, there's a way. And if you don't want it, I mean, maybe you got to fake the funk. I don't know.
Yeah. I think when I think of what's going on out here, I'm speaking to the level of vitriol that Kyrie Irving got versus the pop on the hand that Aaron Rodgers is getting. So I want to play a video for you guys from First Take with Stephen A. Smith, and see how him and Jay Williams interacted with one another. So check this out.
You're putting something into your body, which is something that you've articulated to me. But I am saying to you, your point would be far more profound if there wasn't a history of Kyrie Irving as a backdrop to show this man finds multiple excuses not to fulfill his responsibilities.
Can I get in there?
Go ahead.
Can I have a single shot?
Sure.
Can I request a single shot like you for a second?
Sure.
I want everybody to know Stephen A. Smith is the best in the game of television. He is the best in the game of television. I wanted to say that first off, S.A., because I watched you when you opened the show. I know who you are. I know when you get passionate about things. I know when you say things with conviction. Your opening line of the show was, Aaron Rodgers, my guy, man, it's tough. It's my guy. He's a liar. So it's not just what you say, because you did call him a liar, but brother, how you say things matter. So when I hear you spit venom with energy and passion, and when I hear you say that he's a liar, I wouldn't have said it like that. Because if I put myself in Stephen A. Smith's body, I would have said, he looked people in the eye and he lied. He flat out lied. He said, yes, I am immunized. I am. And then I feel, I understand people, those guys, not referring to himself as one of those guys, he was one of those guys. So that energy that you start a conversation with, it matters to people like me. Because know why? You set the tone for this network, for thousands of people that watch you. I think that's important. Can you understand that? Too, on the Kyrie Irving stuff. Kyrie Irving didn't even say anything for the longest time. He didn't say anything. This man just disappeared. And every day, it was Kyrie this, Kyrie that, Kyrie this, Kyrie that. And I get it, when he finally spoke, he didn't have the right words. It didn't come out the right way. But damn, the intent was there. So now my thing is, when I'm watching this, and I'm watching all this other stuff happen, here I was, I watched a man that came out and flat out lied. with intent, lied. This is how I feel. And I watched Kyrie kind of waver, go back and forth. I'm like, but man, we just chastised this dude for wavering, but this man is lying. And I just want to make sure we keep the same energy. That's all I ask for. I want exponential energy, actually. I want more energy than what you gave Kyrie, because that's deserving of it.
And so just like Jay Williams said, keep that same energy going for Aaron Rodgers and his lies and his failure to comply with rules and regulations. Like if it's good for the goose, it's good for the propaganda.
No, I agree. I really look at this thing, and I agree with Jay and his assessment of this whole thing. You know, like he's really speaking about what we're talking about and the difference in how the media is handling these things. And he's speaking to Stephen A. in particular. And I think that's very important because Stephen A. is pretty much the voice and the face of ESPN at the moment. I think he's the highest paid persona on the network. So he is the face. So people are looking at and taking in the energy that he's giving to this and are going to follow suit afterwards. So when Jay says that you're being very rah-rah and very you're being very direct in one situation, when you're kind of being, you know, dismissive on the other hand, you know, people are going to take in that energy and react accordingly. So yeah, that's one thing. But I think at the beginning of this kind of debate between these two men, when this whole Kyrie Irving issue came about in particular, I think it was something to be said about how both of them again handled these situations, because Stephen A., he was very much into degrading Kyrie because of the fact that he wasn't concerned about the organization and the teammates and all this and that. When Jay, on the other hand, his focus was about Kyrie and his concern for himself and looking at the reality of the situation. You know, every individual who goes through any situation, they gonna look at they self first. So that's what Jay was saying in that situation, is that Kyrie needs to be concerned about his well-being, his decision-making in this stuff, and not be worried about the things that Stephen A. is saying that he should be concerned about, the organization and what they think, the fans and what they think, you know, his teammates and what they think. None of this matters because they not the ones that have to live with the indoctrination being put into their system. He does. So that's the only point I want to make.
I mean, one thing people need to realize is both these people are on the same side. Media portrays their stuff the way that they want it to fall out. So, I mean, if you look at the average person, they're going to look at both of these situations, and they might not even have took it the way that the media took it. But the media takes it that way so they can get the result they want. And you see nobody is speaking against it, really. So, of course, Stephen A. would have all this animosity towards it. But literally, these people are on the same side. They're saying we don't want it. Either way, it doesn't matter how I got to that prognosis. It's my prerogative. What's more to argue about that? I mean, everything else is just perpetuating something else that the media really wanted. So, I mean, that's why it's gotten the traction that it has.
No, I get what you're saying. The media has to create a narrative for the sake of argument.
Because once again, it's another way to separate people that are on the same side. And if you keep on having these lines cut where you're not going to have no team left, and that's where we are now.
Right. Well, like I said, the thing that gets at me is how, like, people were actually protesting outside the Barclays Center to let Kyrie play. the fans are speaking. This one man, if everybody else is indoctrinated, this one man is not going to go around getting the entire team sick. I refuse to believe that. And even with that, like nobody's talking about when it comes to the virus that's going around, how the survival rate is still high for people who have been taking their vitamins, eating properly. This is not a death sentence. That's the thing that is tripping me out. But if you're gonna sit up here, like, you have to speak truth to power when it comes to situations like this. Let's be honest. It's not a death sentence. Like, it's not like he's around people who has respiratory issues. You can actually create a path. Like, if that's your concern, you can create a path. Like, they have tarps and stuff that they had when they were in the bubble a year or so ago, that you can actually keep the players excluded from even being able to touch the crowd, if that's such a big concern. But I'm looking at how they're approaching Kyrie and how they're like, you're so stupid. You're putting people at risk. You're giving up all this money. They're saying all this stuff, but nobody's saying anything like that about Aaron. They're not trying to say, hey, we're going to penalize you for everything that you were doing as far as lying is concerned. They're not saying any of that stuff about Aaron Rodgers. They're kind of keeping it hush, hoping it goes away. And I think that's just more indicative of the politics of America. That's why I called this show The American Hypocrisy. Because if everything was equal, Aaron Rodgers would be getting the same type of heat. They would actually stop him from playing. I know there are other football players who were against this stuff, but they didn't lie, And so that's what I look at more than anything, is how they're treating Aaron Rodgers with kid gloves more than anything. And they were treating Kyrie Irving like he was tied up in a punching bag. Remember that scene in that James Bond movie? One with Halle Berry, when the little Korean dude was beating the crap out of the punching bag.
Right.
There was a man in it.
Yeah.
That's how they doing Kyrie. They put him in a punching bag and beat his ass in the media.
Well, see, yeah, I'm not saying it's right what they're doing to Kyrie, but it's literally, I mean, you're getting hoodwinked by the media, because the media lets out any of this. It's everywhere. So the media has its hands in it before it goes. So the hypocrisy is in the media. And I think people are starting to see it. I mean, even more and more now, there's more people that fight on the same side, and they probably wouldn't have been fighting on the same side a year or two ago. So, I mean, we're a lot more common than we think. So the media is just there to divide us.
Yeah. No, I think that when you say, Joe, that there isn't really an onus put on Aaron Rodgers and his activity, I think that's been the case up in, because this story is just only a couple of days old. But I think as we go, because of people like Jay Williams, who actually has put a spotlight on this now and has chose to go at pretty much, like I said, Stephen A. being the face of ESPN, he's making this a big deal. He's putting a very big spotlight on this. So yeah, just for him to do that, and I think that there will be some punishment that's going to come from this, because I know that there's been other guys in the NFL who have had some little minor infractions, some stuff that kind of goes in line with going against the COVID protocol. So those guys have had to face some type of discipline from the league. So I'm anticipating that Aaron Rodgers is probably going to have to face some of these same things because of the spotlight being put on him, like I said.
Yeah, I'm just in the same vein as Jay Williams. Keep that same energy. Don't let it die down. I know Zoe says it's a media thing. I think it extends past the media, because the media is controlled by these corporations. These corporations are the ones that are paying, for the sponsorships. The athletes go and coincide with the corporations, just like the owners of these franchises. And even though there are fans that would back Kyrie Irving, there are a lot of fans who too will sit up here and say he's ruining the game. They called him stupid for giving up over $300,000 a game that he's missed. Like they're putting money above what he sees as his health. And he's right. Maybe he knows something about his body that nobody else knows. Zoe, you spoke about how HIPAA laws are supposed to protect your medical information from being put out there. But I found out that HIPAA laws don't protect you completely. Certain information can be released if they feel like you're a threat to the public at large.
But if you look at the rate of surviving it, there's no threat.
I agree.
So that's the funny part of it. Like, man, it's literal clown world. It's idiocracy. I don't know. I mean, I guess
that just makes me lean more towards what Zoe was saying about the media contributing to this whole thing, because I do think that when you think about the two situations, and Aaron Rodgers is not somebody who's been painted as some type of angel or something like that, but he hasn't gone through a lot of the same controversies that Kyrie has during his career. So I think some of those things have played a part in how Kyrie has been looked at and how he's been treated through this too. And Stephen A in particular, is somebody who will say a lot of crazy stuff about Kyrie and these are things that are not even related to, his indoctrination situation, so he'll say things about the fact that Kyrie is liable to miss time for whatever reason just because, and, other pundits are talking about some of his world views and stuff like that. So they have kind of made a villain of this dude, if you will. And so it only made it easier for them to do that even more when this situation came about. So I think that really kind of says to how he wasn't willing to play the media game the way that other people are. And because of that, this is kind of where he ends up now. He gets painted in this light that he does because he didn't play the media game.
Right. So I guess the conclusion is this a hypocritical country when it comes to the black athletes? Do black athletes get treated differently than white athletes? I guess these are all the questions that will be answered following how they deal with Aaron Rodgers, if there's any fines, any suspensions for his lies. Kyrie hasn't lied. He just kind of stayed on the sideline. But I really do want to see how this plays out. Y'all got anything to say before we get up out of here?
I mean, really, all you're going to see is the difference between the NFL and the NBA. That's all you're going to see if there's fines or anything. I mean, and it goes back
how
to
the media treats him.
Yes,
like
and the media portrays it the way that they want results. And right now, there was a bad man there, and now they're saying, "Oh, well, here goes another guy," and then they're trying to divide whoever's on both of their sides even more. It's just a divisive tactic, man. It's people look too far into it when it's right in front of their eyes.
What you got?
That's what we've been doing for a year and a half.
Yeah, well, I just want to say what's up to Shay, because I know I didn't get a chance to say what's up to her. I know she said what's up in the comments, so what's up, Shay? But other than that, though, I don't got too much else to add to this situation. I think we pretty much said it all.
Yeah. Right. So once again, we'll try to follow this story, see if there's anything worthwhile talking about in the future. See how this spills out over in the media, social media, you name it. But that being said, Warheads out.
We have now interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you